Brittany Spears is spilling some serious tea, and she's not holding back. So picture this. Brittany's finally breaking her silence and shining a spotlight on the shady connections between Kim Kardashian, the Kardashians, and none other than Diddy. Now, let's rewind a bit. Remember when Brittany was caught up in that whole conservatorship mess orchestrated by Lou Taylor?
There is a Brittany Spears connection in the new Diddy lawsuit. Some of the people named were also the ones involved in Brittany Spears' conservatorship, and now they are being dragged down with Diddy.
Yeah, well, turns out Lou Taylor had some direct ties to Diddy behind the scenes. And guess who was lurking in the shadows? You guessed it, the Kardashians. But wait, there's more. Brittany's not just stopping at exposing their connections. She's straight up accusing the Kardashians of trying to wreck her career, her family life, basically everything she holds dear. Like, talk about a bombshell revelation. And Brittany's not pulling any punches. She's calling for legal action against the Kardashians, saying they're no better than Diddy himself. Honey, it's about to get real messy in Hollywood. Allegations have surfaced about Kim Kardashian's connections to Diddy, and the Jenner family has remained conspicuously silent amidst the drama. What's more, Kim quietly unfollowed Diddy's IG account just 24 hours before Homeland Security paid him a visit last month. Coincidence? Maybe not. Speculation is rife that someone may have tipped off Kim to distance herself from Diddy before the situation escalated. Several suspects are being thrown into the mix, including Lou Taylor, Brittany Spears' former business manager, who reportedly orchestrated her conservatorship. Even Kris Jenner's boyfriend, Corey Gamble, is being implicated. And speaking of Corey, brace yourself for some unsettling allegations linking him to the tragic passing of Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. Remember when Kanye West went on about Corey being CIA? There's certainly a lot to unpack here, so let's dive in.
Yes, Corey CIA. Like, he didn't even have to say it. I know it.
The ongoing Diddy saga has sent shockwaves through the entire industry, with a new A-lister seemingly exposed as part of Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise every day. While Kim Kardashian's status as an A-lister may be up for debate, what's undeniable are her family's close connections to Diddy and his rumored associates. Two key figures linking Diddy to the Kardashians demand attention: Lou Taylor and Corey Gamble. First up is Lou Taylor, a name frequently surfacing in various sketchy Hollywood scandals. Taylor, Brittany Spears' former business manager, faced accusations of involvement in Britney's controversial conservatorship, allegedly pocketing millions from Britney's estate. Even Britney's mother, Lynn, confirmed in her memoir that it was Lou who suggested the idea of a conservatorship to Britney's father, Jamie, shortly after Britney's involuntary 5150 psychiatric hold in 2008.
As January 22nd approached, according to Lynn's tell-all, Lou Taylor and Britney's father felt God telling them to wait, saying quiet plans had been underway for 6 weeks for Jamie to petition the court for temporary conservatorship of Brittany. But it seems like an impossible dream at that point, with Sam still so entrenched in her life. In fact, Jamie was going to file for the conservatorship on January 22nd, 8 days beforehand, but he and his business manager, Lou, felt God leading them to wait, fast, and pray, despite the frustration of a phalanx of lawyers.
Brittany later implicated her mom, Lynn, in the conservatorship plot, and in November 2021, Brittany publicly claimed that both Lynn and Lou Taylor collaborated to persuade her dad, Jamie, to initiate the conservatorship. But Lou Taylor's alleged exploitation didn't stop with Brittany. Rumors suggest she employed similar tactics with several other troubled young stars, including Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, and Justin Bieber. Courtney Love also accused Lou of attempting to take control of her affairs, condemning him on Twitter as a guard dog, a sadist, and a charlatan. Given Lou Taylor's controversial reputation, it's no surprise that the Kardashians welcomed her into their fold. Recall Kanye's public crisis in 2020, when he sought refuge in Wyoming, claiming that Kim and Kris were plotting to have him institutionalized. Allegedly, Kim and Kris did indeed consider placing Kanye under conservatorship, and they reportedly enlisted Lou Taylor's help to orchestrate the plan. However, they purportedly abandoned the scheme once Kanye began publicly exposing their intentions. The Kardashians aren't just acquaintances with Lou Taylor. They have significant business connections. According to documents obtained by Page 6, Lou and his company, Tristar, were listed as registered agents for several Kardashian-Jenner entities, including King Kylie LLC, King Kylie Holdings, and KKW Fragrance. Additionally, during Kim and Kanye's divorce proceedings, documents revealed that Kim designated Lou as the manager of her trust fund. Now, you might be wondering what all this has to do with Diddy. Well, Lou and Diddy go way back, having reportedly met in the 90s when they both worked with Uptown Records. Recently, disturbing rumors have circulated suggesting that Lou reached out to Diddy, tasking him with supplying Brittany Spears with substances ahead of her infamous 2007 VMAs performance, which occurred just months before Brittany was placed under conservatorship. The night before the VMAs, Brittany Spears reportedly partied with Diddy in Las Vegas. There are rumors circulating that her VMAs performance was meticulously planned and orchestrated as a final humiliation ritual to portray Brittany as unwell and in need of a guardian. According to reports from People magazine, on September 8, 2007, the night before the VMAs, Brittany made at least 2 club stops, indulging in dancing and champagne. She first hung out with magician and illusionist Criss Angel before attending a party hosted by Diddy. Brittany initially partied at Body English Club in the Hard Rock Hotel before heading to Pure Nightclub, where she received a warm welcome from Diddy. Allegations suggest that Diddy provided Brittany with spiked drinks that contributed to her disastrous VMAs performance the following day.
Perhaps her performance was less than polished because of all the partying she got in Sin City rather than rehearsal time. Late Friday night, Brittany hit 3 hotspots and was snapped at Caesar's Palace at Pure Nightclub with P. Diddy. Saturday night, she hit the dance floor again. And last night, after leaving the awards, Brittany was spotted at Noir Nightclub until 2:30 this morning, where she apparently spent most of her time in the restroom.
But wait, there's more. You know how Diddy is being sued by producer Lil Rod for allegedly running a Ryko enterprise? Well, Lil Rod mentioned in his lawsuit that Diddy's accountant, Robin Greenhill, was responsible for facilitating the transfer of funds to S-workers. And here's the kicker. Robin Greenhill happens to be an executive at Lou Taylor's company, and reportedly played an active role in assisting Brittany's father in spying on her during the conservatorship. According to Brittany's former security, Alex Vlasov, Robin Greenhill suggested setting up an iPad loaded with Brittany's iCloud account so it could mirror all her activity. This way, they could access all her messages, notes, call logs, browser history, and photos. But if you thought this revelation was shocking, just wait until you hear about Jenner's wide-hipped boy toy, Corey Gamble, and his connections with Diddy. So, you know how Corey just sort of popped up out of nowhere, and no one really knew what he did for a living before becoming Chris's companion? Well, according to Kanye West, that's because Corey has deep connections with government agencies and worked as one of those celebrity handlers. Remember when Kanye expressed concerns about the people in the Kardashian household and around his kids? Word on the street is he was referring to Corey. But this wasn't the first time Kanye voiced unease about Corey. As far back as 2019, he tried to caution Kim about Corey and wondered why none of the Kardashian members had met Corey's family. Then, in the summer of 2020, amidst headlines claiming Kris and Kim were attempting to have him institutionalized, Kanye also called out Corey, expressing his disapproval of Kris or Corey being around his kids. He tweeted, "Kris, don't play with me. You and that Corey are not allowed around my children. Y'all tried to lock me up." Fast forward to 2022, and Kanye once again targeted Corey, this time highlighting Corey's association with Diddy and his alleged role as Justin Bieber's handler. Kanye described Corey as godless and said, "God has a plan to remove the godless Corey needed to never be here anyway. I think he's a nice person, not a great person. A nice person who used to be around Puff's family, then got around Justin Bieber. And then when Kris got divorced, he slid in." Kanye then brought up Corey's dubious history, suggesting that he's a paid handler. He described Corey as someone who used to be associated with Puff's family, then moved on to Justin Bieber, and eventually ended up with Kris after her divorce. Kanye also disclosed that he had to ask Corey to leave his daughter's birthday party at one point, although he didn't specify the reason. He reiterated that they still haven't met Corey's family, and he doubted they ever would. Further, Kanye accused Corey of deeply involving Kim with the liberals, implying Corey's influence in political circles. He added that he always suspected Corey worked for some shadowy corporation like DuPont, or an organization of that ilk. Then, in a video that surfaced online last year, Kanye was heard telling someone on the phone that he knew for a fact that Corey works for the CIA. Here's where things take a darker turn. Corey's long-standing connection with Diddy runs deep, so deep that when Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, tragically passed away in 2018, Corey was among the first to arrive at the scene. Not only that, but Corey and Kris didn't shy away from their friendship with Diddy. They were frequent attendees at his lavish parties, basking in the star-studded atmosphere. However, with Diddy now under official investigation by Homeland Security, Kris and Kim are reportedly in panic mode over their association with him. Rumors suggest Kris has mobilized her PR crisis crisis team to erase any traces of her link to Diddy. They're supposedly working behind the scenes to eliminate any paper trails that might implicate Kim in shady financial dealings facilitated by Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill. But with reports surfacing and none other than Diddy's arch-nemesis 50 Cent allegedly planning to expose the Kardashians in his upcoming documentary, PR damage control might be futile. Fans are already questioning the Kardashians' connections to these shady individuals who also had ties to Diddy. One fan found humor in Kim unfollowing Diddy amidst the heat, while another emphasized the undeniable evidence at hand. The question remains, is there enough evidence to suggest the Kardashians were involved in Diddy's illicit business dealings? And what are your thoughts on Lou Taylor and Corey Gamble's close associations with both Diddy and the Kardashians? Share your opinions in the comments below and stay tuned for the next video.